What's up, folks? So I'm working out on this bass line. Instead of posting a video today, I decided to do a live lesson instead of posting the usual videos that I post on Saturdays now. So yeah, I'm kind of working through this. Y'all excuse the bad connection. The weather all of a sudden decided it wanted to get bad once I decided to go live. So that's what you're hearing. I'm kind of in the middle of a session right now. I've been pretty busy working on a different arrangement for this cover that I'm doing. So I'm just trying to find out an easier way to approach, not necessarily easier, because this is definitely not easy, but thinking of a different way to approach this bass line instead of going straight. So right there, like I wanted to move a little bit more because you could hear like there's this 4 on the floor kind of idea. So the thought process behind this, normally when somebody would send me a track like this, I'm listening to everything trying to figure out, okay, what can I pull out of this? How can I make this particular song move? So those are the things I'm kind of looking for when I get a track like this. So right off of the bat, if somebody sends me a track and want me to record bass or something on that track, even like a lot of times I'll stack and I'll do bass and guitar. So I'm trying to think of something along this line that kind of moves, that keeps the song going, because if I play it real mellow like I was just playing it doesn't really go anywhere. Did you hear how the piano is just moving? What's up, Brazil in the house? See you. So just listening to that, like the melody is kind of carrying the particular song. Some of y'all might recognize that Travis Green, You Made a Way. I'm just kind of redoing it for this medley I'm putting together, and I wanted to flip it and do kind of take a different approach with it. But at the same time, I didn't want to do exactly what they did on the record. So this 4 on the floor type of idea for this section of the song, I'm trying to come up with something that moves a little bit more than, because that's boring. Or even doing. Then we could get away with something like that. Especially with that 4 on the floor. comments popping up. Let me answer some of you guys. All right, from France, I see you. And thank y'all, man, for joining in with me today. Brazil, I see some more Brazil in the house. DRC, I see you, man. All right, so who else we got? LJ says, hey, how are you doing today? What you think about the bass line of Mary, Mary, I'm Walking? I mean, it's a cool bass line. Yeah, so I mean, even like with a song like that, yeah, like even that bass line, he's thinking more rhythmic. Like Warren Campbell, his approach to that bass line was more rhythmic, and I don't know the bass line verbatim because I'm not listening to that song, right? I got a different song completely in my mind, so it's kind of hard to switch gears and start thinking about another song. But it's more of that rhythmic approach that I'm talking about in this particular lesson with building bass lines that move. When you go back to the music of like the early 70s and even music before then, a lot of the Motown, a lot of the soulful stuff, you had a lot more of moving bass lines, especially when you get to a lot of the funk cats, and I can't even name them all, there's so many. But the bass lines were more moving as opposed to more of the popular music now, to where the bass lines are kind of simple. They're pretty much playing. Thank you, Jerry. So the bass lines are a lot more simple now. Even in church, a lot. If you're playing, you're a church musician or something like that. When you're playing those bass lines, they tend to be a little bit more simple than they are, for back in the day. Unless you're in a type of genre like gospel music, depending on the gospel music that you're playing, the bass lines are more moving. So this approach today is coming from more of the standpoint of, the studio musician or even the live musician, if you're playing in a position where you get the opportunity to create. Because if the bass line is just, plain Jane, and that's the style of music that you're playing, it's not much you can do about it. But if you're in a situation where you can actually adjust and add to that bass line, or they're giving you the liberty, like here, to create your own bass line, sometimes something that sticks with people is something that stands out a little bit more. Indonesia, Jerry from Indonesia, I see you, man. Those things tend to stand out a little bit more when you have something that's a little bit more moving, kind of like the example that somebody mentioned, the I'm Walking bass line. Sometimes you have songs that the bass line, they stick out. That's the thing that stick out with you. And with this particular song, all I'm doing is literally following the chord progression. So once I got the chord progression down, I understand certain things in the chord progression. I know how to go about building the line. If someone sends you a song, even if you don't know the name of all the chords, because I think some people feel like, okay, I have to know all the names of the chords, and that's not necessary to build great bass lines. As long as you're listening and paying attention to certain notes, you can kind of pull out what notes you need to be, paying attention to as far as building your bass line, listening to the piano or whatever that instrument is, or sometimes listening to the melody line. It gives you a better foundation for where that bass line could go if you're building your own bass line from scratch. So here, just listening to the progression. All right, just for reference, just in case somebody got their bass out, I don't want to act like, just in case you guys might be playing your bass. So we're in the key of C sharp with this particular song. And we're starting on the 2 with this progression. When you hear it, it starts on the 2. 2 to the 4, 7, 3, 6. That's a substitution there, and you can play either a 6 or you can play the 2. Either one works when you have a substitution like that. 2, 4, 7 to 3, 6, 7 to 3, 4. Here we go, 5, sharp 5 to 6, flat 7. to 4. But I can actually get away with playing the 5 or the 4 over that chord. So I know that's a lot going really listen to. We will begin to listen to the chords that are being played and see if we can pick out certain notes in the chord to figure out what notes we want to target with the bass line, because we automatically know this is in the key of C sharp major. So that's going to be, your 2 is going to be minor. So I have those notes to choose from. When I get to the 2, so when I go to the 3, we got this chord that we could play, just a regular 3 chord. And I might be spelling my chords a little bit different, but it's still just the basic chords, and I'm taking notes from these chords and building my bass lines from. So let's listen to what the piano player is doing though. That 7 chord. What if I can only hear this note? I could take and build just from that position alone. And I could build a bass line from that. At this point, when you're building your bass line, it's about what sounds good, what sounds pleasant to the ear, as opposed to just trying to make sure I'm nailing every single note in the chord. It's about just kind of pulling out what works. Same thing. And I apologize for the freezing, starting and stopping. It looks like we have bad weather today of all days. So I'm just playing over that 7 there. To the 6. And so basically, again, I'm just pulling from these different elements of the chords and just pulling notes from them. So I'll show you in a minute as we continue to strip it down. Normally my process is a little faster than this, but because I'm trying to explain it, I'm trying to give you guys the background to exactly what it is I'm doing so you can have a proper context of how it is I'm building. And this does come from, listening and listening over and over again. So when you do hear something like this, it doesn't take you 3 weeks to process everything that's going on. You've been listening, kind of like we've been talking about in the last few lessons. You've been listening and learning just by transcribing the different songs out. You've been listening and figuring out exactly what to do. So now once you start to hear something that's similar, you can quickly identify what the chords are and know exactly what to play, or have an idea, because I'm still working my way through it, but I have an idea of what I want to do. So now that I kind of got a ground basis of where the chords are going, I'll start putting the bass line together and thinking rhythmically now. So rhythmically, I'm listening to it and I know it has a swing to it. I'm listening to the percussion. Now I could take an approach where I'm building it off the downbeat, but in this particular case, I don't want to necessarily play on the downbeat. I want to play off of the downbeat. we got some little glitching going on. All right. That happens in production as well. All right, so as you can hear, I'm just simply walking down the scale. That's a simple approach that you can take to doing it. And another or you can use octaves and that kind of thing. So the biggest thing is kind of working your way around it and seeing what sounds good. Right now, I'm caught in the space of what I'm hearing in production mode, because normally I'm not filming when I'm in production mode. So I got all these ideas and all these things I'm thinking of that I want to do for this particular arrangement that will be released hopefully soon. But I got to kind of work everything out and work out the arrangement of exactly what I want to do, because I often think of stacking what my bass line is with the guitar part as well. That's a approach that sometimes I use in my production. So whatever I'm doing, I want it to have a little balance to it, but I want it to be something that the guitar can trace as well. So it has to be something definite and not be random. And that's the other thing I wanted to point out. When you're building these bass lines and you're trying to make something that people can remember, make sure you're just not playing random stuff over and over again. It's actually intentional, and you're actually hitting the notes that you want to hit every single time. So if somebody wanted to learn the song and play what you played, it's not that difficult for them to learn all the way through. I'm not saying it has to be robotic and be the same exact thing every single time, but you want something that's structured to a certain degree, so some people can actually remember it. It gets stuck in their head when they can kind of, get the pattern, even if it's the rhythmic thing that's moving. If you can have that rhythmic thing, something that people can understand. Like that rhythm, you can actually remember that rhythm when it comes to that, as opposed to boring. You know what I'm saying? So just some things that you guys want to think about when you start to create these lines and you're trying to create moving bass lines. Just be aware of everything that's happening in the song and that kind of thing. And it will help you to grow and develop what it is you're trying to do. If you're trying to come up with a better bass line, just listen to everything that's going on in the track. It's something that I often talk about in my monthly membership lesson. So just some things to be aware of. Oh yeah, before I forget, I wanted to shout out Fraternity. They sent me this cool shirt over. They have them for bass, electric guitar, acoustic guitar, and I don't know what else, but I do know any fretted instrument. You can check out their website. I'll try to go back and put the link in the description so you can actually go and check them out. But Fraternity, they have some really cool shirts, and I think they have hoodies as well if you want to try or check those out. Really dope stuff that they're putting out here. I think it's cool for the fretted community, if you will. So be sure to check that out, guys. I just wanted to jump on here today and try out this live lesson instead of posting a video today. And so let me know what you think. Comment below. Let me know if you want more of the live lessons, or if you want to continue the regular lessons like we normally do, which I will anyway. What song is that you're playing behind? It's a Michael, that's pretty much an arrangement that I'm doing. It's a medley arrangement that I'm doing, and I took the Travis Green song "You Made a Way" and I flipped it, and I'm pretty much working out the arrangement. That's not finished at all. It's just we're still in the rough stages, and that's what I'm talking about. We're putting together these different bass lines to see what works. Absolutely. Hercules, man. My pleasure. My pleasure. If anybody else got any comments or questions, please let me know really quick. But if not, we're going to jump off of here and move on. So greetings from Atlanta. Oh, what's up, man? My point of view, your lessons are great. Thank you, MC, man. I appreciate that. McGill. I think that's either Mick Gill or MC Gill or whoever it is. Thank you. I appreciate that. Atlanta folks, I appreciate you. Please keep on going. I'm gonna keep this going. You know, I'm live every Tuesday morning. It's just more so discussion though. Topic based when we talk on Tuesday mornings. Not as much lesson heavy as it is just You know, I groove a little bit. It's really called Grooves and Motivation. That's what the Tuesday mornings, if you need a title for what it is, I do on Tuesday mornings at 7:30 Eastern time. Early in the morning for a lot of people. I know y'all musicians like sleeping in, but I'm up early on Tuesday morning. So if you ever want to catch me on more of the live videos, be sure to join in early on Tuesday mornings at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So like I said, drop any comments that you have, especially if you're watching this in the replay. Um, be sure to drop your comments, and if you find this helpful, share it with somebody. And I'll be back to talk about more stuff this week. And be sure to check out, I put up a video this past week where I talked about this pedal that I'm using that's MIDI controller. Be sure to go back and watch that video. It's like one of the last videos I posted. Has a great groove to it. Like, oh, okay, like Candy, I see what you said. Yeah, just side note, it's songs like that that make you think about that bass line bouncing when you listen to it. So those are the type of things we want to think about when it comes to like Four on the Floor, as opposed to just. And there's nothing wrong with that. Come on, Sting and the Police. Every step I take, like as a pulsing bass line. But in that particular song, you have the guitar part that stands out. And, you know, that's the thing that you remember is the guitar part. So it's just kind of knowing your role in the song and being able to create stuff that works the best for the song. Now, if the guitar has a really dominant part, if the keyboard or the piano has a really dominant part, then maybe you could just take a more simple approach to your bass line. It all matters the song, because even Stevie Wonder had some pretty elaborate things happening in the music, and the bass lines were some memorable bass lines. So, you know, it's totally up to you. Stoner basses are great, but not really funky. Let's see here. What's up, Sean? Yeah, so you know, it's those kind of things. You just want to be aware of what the music is asking for and be able to deliver whatever the music is asking for. So anyway, guys, not going to be on here too long. Going to jump off, and I appreciate you guys for chiming in today. I am out of here, y'all. Take care. Peace.